Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Tavern. We've officially hit our first channel milestone for subscribers, so thank you, truly, from the bottom of our hearts. As a thank you, in the next few weeks we'll have a special PvP one-shot featuring the Heck Raisers pitted up against a group of Taverners, including everyone's favorite, Bonk and Deontay. It's going to be a heck of a show, so keep your eyes peeled. Before we get into tonight's action, a brief word from our sponsor. Do you have dice? I mean, probably. Are they just sitting in a dirty dice tray amongst cat hairs and dust? Are they in a cardboard stiff black felt-like dice bag that collects cat hairs and dust? You should check out Impassible Creations, creators of cuddly cozy confines for your clickety-clack mathety-racketies. They've got a wide range of dice bags to choose from, based on your favorite fantasy flora, fauna, and even spells. What's more, they've got awesome pillows, scrunchies, stickers, and super cool reusable initiative trackers. They're like framed, they're really, really cool. They've got something for everyone, so check out their whole collection over at impassiblecreations.com. And be sure to use code YBIT24 at checkout for 10% off your order. Back to the show. Last we left off, we'd found a little rocky outcropping, some boulders that are perched up on a cliff face looking down over a vast swath of the coastal tropical island that you're all on. You found this little cliff face and were able to get inside and be relatively hidden from the nearby fort that you discovered after Corvin was taken during a trek up the mountain. You guys were set upon by a group of bandits, kind of. They didn't have the telltale signs and trademarks of the shadow-possessed entities that you've encountered so far. They quickly descended upon you, snatched Corvin. I think the idea was to get a lot more of you. But they had to play with the cards they were handed, and the card that they were handed was most of them dying in the jungle. Win some, you lose some. They retreated into the jungle further and very quickly with the help of a spellcaster who was able to do some nifty things with magic, like stealing the Corvin. As you guys made chase after him after dealing with the attack, you stumbled across George, who had gotten separated from Corvin in the woods, and you also stumbled across a fresh campsite, leading you to believe that you were not far away. And indeed, as you pressed forward, you came to a clearing and find this massive fort with thick wooden walls set up against the cliff face, that the same cliff face that you guys had decided to crash at for the night. Just for the sake of things, with this map up here, it is, you're off to the left of the map, probably 900 feet. Also alongside this massive cliff face, just to put into context, probably 100 to 150 foot down to the next level of forest below. So pretty significant. Right next to you guys is the outmost side of the moat that encircles this fort. When you were finding your way to your little hidey hole, you noticed that this was an artificial moat created by plugging it up with large rocks. Some of them look like they were moved by hand, some of them maybe by spellcraft, to block off this natural channel and create an artificial moat. So we're picking up right there. We are a little past sundown, we'll say. Just getting set up in this little natural cavern or cloister of rocks off to the side while the sun is beginning to set.
Gotcha. We're going to set up camp here, try and get a rest in, or are we just going to try and storm the gates?
I thought we were going to kind of wait till morning, see if we can like scout and guess how many people there are.
Try to ambush them if they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, I don't remember the exact number, but there is quite a few people on the inside, like maybe between a dozen and 2 dozen people that were visible inside when Vargo scouted it.
Got it.
Gotcha. Okay, so spend the night doing a long rest. Tomorrow we spend the time trying to study, see what's going on, and then we maybe attack them at night when they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Late evening, and they're kind of drunk and winding down.
Yeah.
Are there what are the rules for like a silent takedown type thing? If you kill someone within 1 round, do they still get to cry out and make noise?
It kind of depends on how we want to do it. Generally, traditionally, if you're able to drop them in 1 round, though, through a combined effort, like the good old trick where you banish somebody and then everybody just gets into a circle around where they're at and just holds attacks. You can absolutely do that and they will not get a chance to call out. There's also other interesting weird things that happen in like your Solid Snake-esque type things. Like you might want to sneak up behind somebody and snap their neck, right? That kind of loses its effect when you immediately hear, all right, roll initiative and let's see what happens here in the next 2 hours and 35 minutes of combat. So I really do like that idea of like the stealth subtle takedown. And I think we can do something about that in the realm of like a dexterity and a strength check, I think, or whatever feels right for the moment. Oh, go ahead, sorry, man.
I was the thing I was thinking of was I assume I spotted some of these people who were like on the walls keeping watch. So I've got pushing attack. I was thinking I could sneak up there and push one of them off to where Scylla and Shalla are waiting below.
Okay.
I've also got person prepared. I can do a...
Oh, nice. So yeah, the just above the table, just to kind of get into that. The way I do it personally is if you're able to get them, and you know it's one of those situations where perception checks and insight, or not insight, but perception checks really go a long way towards telling you, or not telling you, I guess, if a person is, if they're like, you know, in eyesight of another person or not. But you get them off the wall and start beating on them. Like the worst thing that's going to happen is somebody's passive perception that might be like walking the wall also could come into play. But no, I mean, yeah, with stealth takedowns, yeah, we can do that.
Awesome.
All right, so we set camp and sleep for the night.
Sure. Do you guys want to do watches?
Probably are this close to them.
Yeah, I'll take first watch, and since I've still got, go ahead and cast Bless on myself for help with any perception checks.
Okay, cool. You want to roll me a
guidance as well.
Oh, let me ask real quick first. Does anybody want to do anything else before you guys start to bed down for the night?
No, I was just gonna say if we do see a group of them leaving, we should probably try to ambush them. Just whoever's awake, wake the other people up.
Agreed.
Okay, Scylla, do you
Although
want...
they could also set them off and they don't return.
Yeah, these are all
We
things
kinda
to
want-
consider, yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of want enough time to prep for either a siege or just straight up storm it.
Correct. Okay, so Scylla, do you want to roll me a perception check with your bless first thing?
I can do that. For no, actually 2d4s. I also cast guidance as a. Oh,
That's an interesting
well, that sucks.
No.
a natural one and then 2 natural ones on the d4.
Well, I'm distracted. I'm really frustrated and pissed off. I've had martial training. I know what to do in a fight. I rushed forward. I left our backside unguarded, and Corvin got grabbed. I'm very pissed off at myself. So I'm not in my right mind about this.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, and with that, will you also roll me just a straight d20? What?
Are you shitting me,
Will you roll me another d20 just to see if that's not a thing?
motherfucker?
Okay, that's just
Okay,
hilarious
okay.
luck. Holy cow.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, it's been a great start of the game.
That's cool. Straight d20s are arbitrary.
Get him out of the way now.
Yeah.
Right.
Straight
Is that
d20s
how
are
statistics
they're,
works?
they're mostly arbitrary. It's more of a table. So being this close to them, the wind is coming straight down off of the top of the mountain slope, and it's actually kind of getting with it a little bit as far as wind goes. It's kind of that effect, that sheer effect of the wind being pushed up over the top, the peak of the mountain, and then just kind of diving straight down. So thankfully, that does some things for you. That keeps your sound from traveling, and if they have any type of, like, you know, hunting dogs, I don't know if that's even a thing on the island, but it would keep the scent away as well. But it also keeps some of the sound away. So at the very beginning, when you guys like first found this little place and started to settle down, getting ready for night, Scylla, you remember the occasional strong bit of laughter would carry on the breeze, and you could hear it a little bit. But it's kind of just gone to an eerie quiet, aside from the rushing wind past the little natural entrance that you guys are back inside of. But your watch goes smoothly, Scylla.
Don't I wake up Vargo for next shift.
Cool.
And then I turn it.
Right, Mr. Vargo, would you roll me a perception check? And a
Sure.
d20.
Guidance myself, nothing else to do while I'm watching.
Hey, that's
And
something.
D20. Nope. I hit enter and I added another D20. There we go.
You're good. 10. Cool. So while Scylla's mind was elsewhere with the kind of natural thoughts of regret following a conflict that goes both ways, kind of, you're sharpest in the night. It is a comfortable time and place to be alive when you're Vargo, and you're able to hear quite well the revelry that's going on at the fort, just, you know, hundreds of feet to your immediate right, or I guess your left probably if you're backed up against a cave, but that's just complicated. For about a little under an hour, it's kind of the same thing over and over again, to the point where it drifts into a monotonous drone, and then you hear a couple of voices that are coming a little closer, that you're able to pick out and separate from the rest of them, and they're about a task. You're not sure what it is, but because it's a little too far away to pick up their exact wordings, but there's a little bit of malcontent with their task that they're setting apart. And maybe 10 minutes or so goes by, and you hear it's almost like a vibration that you feel more than anything. You feel it at first, and then you hear, it's like stone grinding on stone is what you hear.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna... How long into my watch is this?
Probably close to the end of the first hour.
I'm just gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna wake Shalla up quietly and whisper that I'm gonna go scout out what's going on with these two.
Sounds good.
If I'm not back in, I don't know, 5 minutes or something, probably wake Scylla up and come look for me.
Got it.
That's no fun. The appropriate is, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, wait longer.
Yeah, just wait till tomorrow and then see if I'm trussed up inside the keep or not.
Gosh.
Maybe the scry on me then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you gently wake her and let her know your idea, and as you creep out of the front of this little natural cavern, do you want to make me a stealth check, Vargo? It's kind of just a yeah.
It's not my greatest.
It's not your greatest, but you're kind of invisible too. As the rest of you see nothing as Vargo creeps from the mouth of this little cavern. You slowly start to like creep along the edge of this rock formation in the direction of the fortification. Do you want to make me a perception check?
Sure.
Not bad at all. So even from your concealment, across the moat on the island, we're going to call it the island side of the fort, you see two young male islanders that are hoisting a large, thick chain, kind of like a boat anchor chain, out of the moat. It's quite heavy, and it's taking both of them with some effort to do. Like, the chain's big enough that they can basically palm each link and drag it up as they do. It's taken you a little bit of time to get outside of the cave and just, find a place to get a vantage point. And they've been at it for quite some time. And something else you notice very interestingly, Vargo, is it wasn't as strong inside the cave, but out here you can hear freely running water. And you start to notice that the surface level of the moat is dropping.
Huh. Okay. And they're just... Can I see what was the chain, like, just attached to the ground next to the moat? Or can I see where it goes to?
So the chain that they're pulling is coming out of the water, and it doesn't seem to have been, like, really fixed to anything. There's a large pile. It's dark, so it's kind of hard to see, but there's a large pile at their feet. And it looks like they're pulling up the chain and leaving it into a pile there. But it's hard to tell from this distance and this time of day if there's any thing that it was actually fixed to.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how draining the moat helps us that much. I'll just keep watching and see if anything else happens with it.
Okay, cool. We'll say for the rest of your watch, there's no harm in doing it out here. Just want to roll me one more perception check. Alright, and I'm just gonna, for the sake of things... Yeah, they have no idea what you're doing. So for another 20 or so minutes, it's hard to keep track of time, but for another, what you assume to be like 20 or 30 minutes or so, they're diligently working to pull this up.
I'd take a quick break to go tell Shalla.
Oh, good call.
That everything's fine. You can go back to sleep. I've got an eye on the fort.
Cool. There's like a 90% chance Shalla was fully asleep the entire time.
No, you don't understand. D&D is where I live vicariously the life I wish I had. I sleep excellent.
I feel you. Like I said, so it takes another half hour, maybe. It's hard to tell, but they get it hoisted up, and what you see is, in fact, a large piece of stone hooked to the end of this chain that's kind of shaped like a drain plug. It's kind of it puts into perspective the strength of those people that were hoisting it out. They were obviously a little bit more gifted than your average person. But the rest of your watch goes by. They, after 20 or 30 minutes or so, they take a few minutes to catch their breath, and then they retreat back to the front of the fort.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back and I guess just go to sleep and we can discuss that in the morning.
Cool. Shalla, it is your turn, ma'am.
Alright.
You roll me a perception check and a flat d20.
Yes. As soon as D&D Beyond loads.
You're good.
Perception. Come on, man.
It warms my heart so much when I see a 5 and then I see a 15. It's like...
I love that so much.
Absolutely. Okay. Alright, so with your 15, you don't hear anything crazy going on outside until right at sunup. Right at sunup, the camp comes to life. It starts bustling quickly with it's too far away to hear exactly what they're saying, but you're hearing what you can imagine are orders being shouted and people getting mustered and rallied, and say maybe another 30 minutes, right at the very tail end of your watch, you hear creaking wood as the gate to the fort open up. But from your vantage point here, basically relying mostly on sight or on a sound, you're not able to get anything else out of that. But your watch goes by without issue, and that is the important thing. So you all start to slowly come to consciousness, normal.
Yeah, so they apparently have to pull a plug out of their moat every once in a while, or it'll, I assume, overflow. Did that look like if the plug wasn't pulled, it would overflow into the fort, or just kind of all over everywhere?
Do you want to make me an... Do you want to make me a nature check or a survival check? One of the two.
Sure.
It did not it did not look like it was in danger of overflowing. And it kind of as a matter of fact, last night when you had crept up even closer to do your initial recon, you remember that the water level was a good foot or two below the surface of the ground there. You get the idea that perhaps they did this in an effort to lengthen the field of engagement outside their walls. Whereas previously there was a relatively small moat and an immediate clearing, and then, you know, a little bit back from there, the rest of the forest. With them pulling the plug, so to speak, and draining the moat, now anyone that's going to attack them has to go down and then up again. Potentially making a lot more noise and being easier to spot. At least that's what you're able to...
Okay.
So there's a possibility that they're aware that you guys might be in the area.
Or they assume we followed since they took one of our people.
Right, exactly. It's really not much more than like that common sense academic aspect of it. You guys have been more than sufficient in your stealthing about so far, so they don't know your proximity.
Alright, well, I think we were just gonna mostly hang out for the day and see if anyone would leave, unless anyone had any other... Yeah, I don't know, we could try to get up higher again, and... Or I guess you can scry Corvin now?
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to do that now or right before we attack, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, regardless, I think we ought to take the day to kind of strategize and come up with an actual plan instead of just trying to kick the gates in and improvising the whole time.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
No, definitely we need to do some observing and...
The DM wants you to just blindly charge in, come on.
Right. Shalla, do you have any way of telling what the weather's going to be like tonight? Any chance of a storm? Natural storm. Might give us some cover.
Yeah.
Well, you can always cause one too.
You have Druidcraft as well, which will...
I do have Druidcraft. What's that one do? A sensory effect.
It's kind of like a weather prediction app type stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Prestidigitation and Thaumaturgy. It's one of the 3 best cantrips in the game, and nobody ever talks about them.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that and try it and see what the weather at this location will be for the next 24 hours.
Sweet. Okay, so yeah, just hanging out in your guys' little rocky alcove. You guys see Shalla's eyes. They're normal, and then like a cloud bank pushing in, they roil over with darkness, and you see flashes of light from behind the clouds. And Shalla, you get an idea that sometime this afternoon, it is indeed going to start storming. This is going to be a big storm that may last a few days. It's not a hurricane, but it's much more on the side of a strong tropical storm.
Almost like a tropical cyclone sort of thing?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's almost is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not as long-lasting and as dangerous as a hurricane. You guys have weathered more than your fair share out here on the island, so that's nothing new. This is nothing to be alarmed about, but it is going to cause a ruckus at some point.
Almost like a monsoon season sort of deal.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a good time to attack then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, use that for cover. Vargo, are either of your weapons magical? Your crossbows?
No.
Okay, I can help with that. So we'll give you a boost. So that'll give us a little extra range damage.
Yeah, I don't know if... Do we want to, like, try to break in and just get in a good position, then start fighting? Or do we want to try to pick people off and not alert them as long as we can.
Yeah, I say probably pick them off from a distance as best, and then when shit goes, find a path of least resistance.
Yeah, the more we can take out before we have to like directly engage would be great.
Yeah, and I do have, I can cast my a spiritual weapon that I can have float around at range.
I made a token for that finally.
Yeah. Then yeah, I've definitely got more protective options. I need to come up with an actual cheat sheet for do this in this case.
Yeah.
Okay, so go during the storm rather than at night, probably? Or... I mean, that'll help hide sound, at least.
Yeah, you get the idea, Shalla, that it's going to start storming sometime in the afternoon, maybe later afternoon, and it pretty much won't stop for another day.
Okay.
Oh, we can't go at night, then.
Yeah, it's an absolute possibility. Those, especially when we know one of you guys can call lightning down like it's your job.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would say maybe once it gets dark, I'll try to make a spot on the wall for all of us to get up to, and we can just make our way from there. Trying not to make a ton of noise.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm going to go through my spells a bit real quick.
Yeah, take your time, man.
Yeah, I'm just taking a moment to kind of go over what I've got.
Yeah, and clerics are crazy because you got everything.
Yeah, well, I only took what
man.
kind of makes sense for her kit, but it is a pretty good kit.
Yeah, and you can change it up daily, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
I just realized I have disguise self once a day. Could try to, like, disguise myself as the first person we kill or something. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Capture one of them.
Okay, so while you guys are hanging out and having this little discussion, do you guys want to make a round of perception checks?
Sure.
Not good. Ouch. Well, better than me.
Yeah. So Shalla and Vargo, between the pair of you, you hear the commotion in the camp kind of reach a little bit of a crescendo, and not long after, you hear the gate start to creak closed, which I think is probably the best you can hope for at this distance. But it's kind of clear to you guys that at daybreak something went on inside. Not sure what it was, if they were sending out a hunting party or what was going on, but some
I'm
coming.
confident Corvin broke free.
Do what?
I said I'm confident Corvin broke free and saved himself.
You just talked to him for 20 minutes, and they're like, "We got to get him out of here." But so the day is yours. Do you guys want to do some poking around, or are you just going to kind of try and hang tight and let?
I actually kind of want to, and Vargo, you're welcome to join me on this. I want to try and see if I can memorize the guards' movement patterns, like their walking patterns, and how often they change out.
Yeah, I was thinking of checking, like, just outside the fort, trying to see if there are tracks indicating people left or not. But I think that is a good idea, figuring out how the guards move.
So even if we do try and attack at night during a storm, they'll be mostly asleep and the storm will cover us, but we can still hit within a weak spot.
Oh, yeah, it also sounded like there was like an hour or something where they were partying pretty hard last night, so I don't know if that's a regular thing. Yeah. We could maybe try to wait for that.
That'd be great. Because they can always wake up and get to arms, but they're drunk. They're drunk.
Don't we know it? All right, so we got a
Low
couple.
key, I kind of wanted to play a drunken master monk at one point, just because it's like fun.
Oh
We
yeah.
got one of those
Well, you know,
Do what?
somewhere back at the beach.
maybe. It just disappeared in the middle of the night one day.
Yeah.
Living their best life. They're probably just all partying with that kobold down, drinking Mai Tais.
Right. They're the smart ones. Here we are trying to save the world.
Right.
And they're like, that sounds
What were we
hard.
thinking?
That sounds
I'd
like
rather just have a
whoa.
party.
I don't blame them, though.
No, if I had my choice between facing darkness and partying my ass off, I'm partying my ass off.
Yeah.
Right. So, so let's break this down one at a timey-wimey here. So, Scylla, you're wanting to kind of clock the guards' movements. Are you wanting to? How close are you wanting to get to make these observations?
Well, first I'm actually going to doff my heavy armor, so I'm not clanking around, but I am going to keep my weapons and my shield with me.
Okay, that works.
And then, yeah, close. I mean, close enough to get eyesight, to get visuals on them, but obviously try and stay in the brush and foliage.
Okay, so do you want to make me a stealth check as we're trying to find a decent little vantage point? Ooh,
20, bitch.
heck yeah!
Nice.
That's why we doff our armor, guys. Either that,
Damn
or just,
right.
either that, or just take breastplates. They don't have a stealth disadvantage.
Yeah, I think I'm wearing a half splint. I think.
I gotcha. Yeah, you know, everybody kind of thinks like, oh, big, strong dragon lady. She's, you know, overt everywhere she goes. But no, you get rid of that armor and you slink up there like a lizard chilling in the rocks, man. And you find a nice little good bush, and you're able to poke your head out. And want to make me a
It's always nice when you find good bush.
absolutely big scaly bush. Do
Oh.
hey, I don't know.
They're getting made.
Do you want to make me a series of 3 perception checks as you kind of hang out over the course of a few minutes to kind of observe?
All right. Well, in my intense focus, I'm gonna spam guidance on this every time. So perception with 1d4. Hana?
Another
Oh, not
natural
good.
1. Holy cow.
Jesus, I better roll 20s come combat.
Yeah.
No kidding. Holy cow.
So,
Oh, that's not bad.
that's better. And set. Respectable.
That works. Because this is nothing too complicated. They're very out in the open, and from your vantage point, you can see that, and we'll say that you've been hanging out here for like a good 45 to an hour, just kind of, you know, catching the lay of the land and see what's going on, see who's coming and going. More so because you're a little bit concerned about getting away without being detected, so you're kind of waiting for that right moment. Might as well use it. There seems to be 4 people up on the walls at any given time. The ones that are closest to the main gates don't seem to move very often. It's kind of like they've got one job to do, and that's look forward. The other 2, you see, they don't have a fixed pattern, but they kind of stay on their half of the fortification, and they kind of just make their way around. Sometimes they, you know, meet up and have a little chit-chat. But there's really doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to their orbit. just the front two definitely are remaining stationary, or at least in their little realm.
Okay. Also, if we take one of them out, it'd be a while before anybody noticed.
Yeah.
But that is also coming in right at the front.
True story. I will also throw in that they're kind of just up there doing whatever. They're not like... There's an interesting, like, you want to roll me an insight check, Scylla? Hey, that works. Holy cow. Holy cow. Yeah, that works. Absolutely. I forget that insight is not an intelligence thing all the time.
No, it is not.
But there's a focus to them. You can tell that they're focused, and they're looking, especially this one on the side, over here. You notice that he's looking out along the moat, down in the moat. He's doing a good job of like leaning over. You can tell that they're
which one is it? I didn't see a...
Oh, I'm sorry. It's because the map is so big. It's this one over here. The far left.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. So under the 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And mostly it's just because you're on that same side of the fort, so he's the easiest one to see. But you can tell that they're not constantly shouting back and forth orders with anyone down below, and while they're keeping an eye out, they still are, you know.
And they're not heavily trained. They know to keep an eye out. They don't quite know. They don't have a protocol nailed down.
Exactly. They know that there's possibly trouble coming, and
hey, look over here and give a yell if something shows up.
Yeah, it's got anxieties heightened, but it's not to the point where they're like freaking out, because they're in a massive fortification, butted up against a cliffside. They've got good numbers on their side. They're not really worried. And let's see, one more thing. I will say, interesting thing about the individual on the on that western tower. You're not able to get a lot of details, but he stands out quite well from the rest of them, because he is in fact wearing what appears to be Corvin's breastplate. You can see the gleaming.
What are they doing?
Well, I mean, so Shalla, you're not there, but
I know.
But the Moanui Islanders are not like lousy with armor and weapons. They don't have kind of the same game that some of these outsiders have, and it kind of looks like maybe they're just doing their best to get with the program. But Scylla, after you've observed for a good while, are you wanting to stick around some more and see what happens, or are you gonna head?
I mean, we still got some time to burn. I might as well. I mean, I'm off in the distance. I'm pretty well hidden.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give it another maybe 2 hours.
Okay, cool. We will cut back to you here in a second. We're going to go over to Vargo real quick. So Vargo, you're going to kind of be sneaking around the front, is that correct?
Yeah, I was just going to try to figure out if anyone had left the area recently and what direction they went if they had.
Okay. Do you want to make me a stealth check as you move at this from a different direction? That is a fantastic stealth check. 23, yeah, we can work with that. So, you notice that you remember that there is kind of 2 layers to the entrance of the fort. Move the map down a little tiny bit for the camera. So there's the immediate, we'll call it the vestibule, outside of the gate and the bridge, where the ground has been cleared pretty well for about 30 feet in like a half circle. Trees are cut down. The ground is pretty dirty and like well traveled there, and then immediately it breaks into more dense vegetation. There's an area where they've tried to cut some back, but nature finds a way. So you have no problem sneaking behind trees, darting from shadow to shadow in the early morning, especially, and you get decently close to towards the front. You're being very careful to avoid contact with the especially the front 2 sentries, but even some of the wandering ones from further back along the wall. And their walls do give them a decent height advantage. They're probably 20-foot tall walls, but they're still like kind of at eye level or a little below eye level with most of the tree canopy around.
Okay.
As you approach and start kind of getting a feel for the area, do you want to make me a perception check? 19. Not bad at all. So indeed, there are a ton of wagon tracks around. Not wagon tracks, but like cart tracks. Cart tracks, people tracks, to the point where like it kind of becomes one kind of continuous like hard pack, like a cratered surface almost. But you notice a set of wheel tracks that is broken through that top layer of dirt and left it much more disturbed. And there were indeed a handful of footprints with it that are also leaving the dirt more so disturbed, that travel south along a kind of a well-used but inconspicuous path through the forest, kind of leading back the way you guys came.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just try to follow that, maybe like half a mile if I can, or maybe less than that. But just, basically what I'm looking for is somewhere we could potentially try to ambush this group on their way back to the fort, where it wouldn't be in sight of the fort or within hearing of the fort.
I gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to make me a survival check as you just were trying to kind of follow the trail through to differentiate it from all the rest of the yeah, 22, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, you follow it along, and I'll do a little bit of painting here as well, just to kind of show what's going on here. So we have kind of the mountainside above you guys, right? And you guys are on this shelf of the island, basically, and this fort is kind of here. We'll go with that. And you follow this trail out from the fort, and it kind of meanders this way, kind of hugging close to that next cliff face, if that makes sense. If we're remembering that this is kind of like, this side of the island is kind of like a tiered cake.
Yeah.
So yeah, they pull away from the fort and then they go into the forest before turning, and you're able to also, to put this into perspective,
Oh, okay.
And then yeah. So this would be the east, back towards Nicaranu and Tekor Harbor. Everything that way is kind of like along that side of the island.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of follow it out a little ways and then go back and meet up with everyone.
Okay.
Discuss what was found.
Sure, no problem at all. And do you want to make me just a stealth check to get back through the woods and?
Sure. There we go.
Cool. 26. And yeah, there. As far as ambush locations, you were able to find several spots that could work. Especially when they start to hug up against the cliffside. There's a good little bit of distance where you could find outcroppings above and possibly have a height advantage on them. Not sure how perfectly concealed it would be, but there definitely is some potential there if you're interested in going that route.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go meet up with the team and discuss it.
Cool. And we'll cut back over to Scylla real quick, who's still keeping watch. Do you want to make me a couple more perception checks, Scylla?
Absolutely. And somebody's TV's up, kind of loud.
It's Catherine.
Hey, David, can you turn the TV down? Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
He likes to listen to the TV loud.
Oh, me too.
Is that damn tinnitus?
Dude, I really do too. Like,
Stupid 3M clips.
Can't even imagine it. I never want to deal with that.
So I've got 4 distinct pitches. Well, 3, but I can hear the bass line when I get in the sensory deprivation tank.
oh, that's cool.
Oh, it's fucking terrible. I haven't heard silence in years.
The
It's
true
terrible.
tone of Roshar. So.
Those are good rolls.
They're really good rolls. You see a couple things, Scylla, to add to your repertoire of things you know about the fort. Sorry, I'm just getting the camera here a little reorganized. You see a female character, and from this distance you're only certain that she's female because she's just significantly smaller than the rest of the people you see. Comes up on the wall at this point. I'll ping that again just in case you're not seeing what I'm putting down. Indicating that there's some type of stair or ladder that allows people to summit the walls. And as you watch, she makes a beeline towards the gentleman on the tower down there, and they have an exchange of words before she retreats. I'd say about 45 minutes later, you'll see a group of 3. They look no different than the scouts you guys had encountered the previous day when Corvin was taken. They start making an orbit of the actual island that the fort is on. At ground level. They come from around the side. They don't appear to have come out the front gate. They make a circuit all the way around from the front to the wall at the very back before turning around and retracing their steps back. But, good to know that there is at least some ground patrol going on as well.
Gotta find how they got in and out.
And that's another thing.
Well. Yeah, let's see, Vargo and I able to link up out here?
If you want to. That's up to you guys. If,
Yeah, we do that. I relay all this information to him, and if you want to try and help, I'll try and find out where they're coming in and out from. That's not the main gate. I can kind of help keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
I imagine you can get closer a lot more safely than I can.
Usually. Won't be as good as going in at night, but I can probably maybe. Well, there isn't really much cover over there, is there?
No.
Can we just maybe skirt around the outside of the moat and see if we can identify a door or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to give me, the two of you guys want to make me a stealth check to get around?
Okay.
Or
Since
one
I'm taking my
second.
time, I'm gonna also spam guidance again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the rule with guidance. You're supposed to say it after every roll is asked for until they say no.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just want to double check something. This has got some modifiers on. Yeah, they don't notice nothing.
Wait.
So yeah, you guys are able to skirt around from the left to the right entirely. It takes a little bit of time, but surprisingly not that much time, as it seems like the longer in the day, the less attentive these guards, some of them at least, have become. Especially the front two. They're keeping an eye out still. You're able to, out of your periphery, kind of keep an eye on them because they're the main threat. The one on the left is kind of kicked back and slumped up against the railing a little bit and just kind of chilling about it. So you were very dead on, Scylla, about there's a complete lack of training here. But you guys make it all the way to the opposite side, and do you guys want to give me a perception check as you look out on the flank of the fort?
Alright, and I'm gonna spam guidance. Oh!
Hey, it's not bad. It's not bad. It could be worse.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Vargos is not bad either. It is hard to tell. They've already, by this time, made their way back into cover. Vargo, at the base of this tower, there is a gap in the wood that doesn't match the rest of the tower. And that's how crazy Vargo's eyes are.
Wow.
It's a substantial, so we're talking like, from millimeters to inches here.
Tell me, Vargo, what do your elf eyes see?
Yeah.
Taking the hobbits to Eisen. What is a hobbit?
We did lose all of our short members. They must have been taken some.
Granny Anna's cooking them up for dinner. So you're not sure if it's a door or if it's just a feature and not a bug. But there's definitely something there, possibly.
Okay. I don't know if that'll be any better than trying to, rappel our way up the walls, but good to know about.
All right. Do you guys want to make me a one more stealth check just to get back to the cave?
Absolutely, and I'm gonna spam guidance.
Because that's helped you so far.
Right?
Hey, there we
The
go.
only reason I've passed any of my damn checks so far.
Hey, there you go. You guys make it across no problem at all. And you are able to link back up with Shalla at the rocky outcropping.
Right.
So yeah, how do you two feel about trying to ambush whatever that party they sent out? It could alert them that something's up if they don't come back, but I feel like if we can get rid of half a dozen people, that would kind of be worth it.
Not
Is that what
bad.
it was? About 6 people?
What
There
time
was
of
a
day
cart
is it?
and some footsteps, so I don't know exactly.
Oh, okay, got it.
What time of day is it by now?
It is, I would say, probably right around midday.
Gotcha, because if these guys are supposed to get back and they don't, and that sets these people on alarm, they're probably not going to get drunk and do their revelry at night. Whereas if we let them go
That's true.
back and they all party and get drunk, that's still more to fight, but they're impaired.
What what is our drunk mechanic in game? Like, how much of a hindrance is being drunk to people in combat? Really?
Random attack rolls and ability checks.
Yeah, it's
poison, right?
It's essentially exhaustion, kind of.
Okay, no, that sounds good to me then.
It's definitely significant.
Yeah, it's
both plans are viable because if we can take out most of them, I mean that's still a bunch of people not rolling attack rolls on us.
Yeah, I mean I'm fine with either way, honestly.
Gotcha. In that case, I say save it just so I've got all my just so we have all of our resources when we storm in, instead of burning off spell slots and maneuvers right now.
Okay.
That's my vote.
Yeah. So as you guys are sitting around, it does start to become darker inside the cavern that you're all... I keep saying cavern. It's really kind of like 3 rocks that are just kind of pushed together, creating like a little, like nature's pavilion. But it's pretty much covered from the overhead, which makes it a nice little treat. It does start to get darker, though, and Shalla, you can kind of just feel in the back of your mind that pressure that indicates that, hey, the clouds are starting to move in. And while they were out doing their scouting this morning, Shalla, were you up to anything special in the...
Probably just sticking close by to the cave, because I know they're out looking around. I don't want to really draw attention to myself.
Gotcha. Do you want to, just for funsies and to, have something to do you want to make a nature check? See if you can find any cool plants around?
Oh, yeah. See if I can find more of those healing potion herbs.
Yeah, we should name those at some point.
Since I got half of them needed for a healing potion. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, indeed.
Oh.
Hell yeah, indeed.
I searched the fuck out of those herbs.
Right. You found all kinds of plants.
I love it. Want to roll me a d6 as well?
Maybe some fun ones.
5. Okay, cool. So, interestingly enough, you do find a large plot of those same exact plants. It's nestled up against the far side, so the far left side of the rock structure that you're on, and it's a lot of flowers, actually, or plants. It's a lot. It's kind of, do you want to make me a investigation roll, Shalla? 9. It's weird. It's weird, but it's good weird. So you're able to, I will say, there's a thought in the back of your mind, Shalla, is there might be a little bit too much order and uniformity to the plot of flowers that you have found. To the point where it's
like someone planted them, or like this is weird for a naturally occurring thing.
Kind of like it's hard to tell, but it may be like somebody planted them. Having said that, you're cool to grab a couple handfuls if you want.
Oh hell yeah!
Roll me a there's a bunch. Roll me a D100.
12.
Cool. So you get we'll say that you gather enough that you think won't be missed. So you have now enough total, including what you already had, enough to make 2.5 batches. So 2 healing potions and a half of another one. So you can go ahead and add those to your inventory or update them however you want to do it.
Stab the herbs, not the healing potions. I still have to make those.
Yeah, still got to make those.
Got it.
Well, we could find an alchemist station at some
Yeah.
point. Or do you actually have a kit?
Yeah. I'd have to look. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, because it's either the herbalism kit or the alchemist kit can be used for it. I think it's specifically the herbalism kit though.
Got it. I think I do have an herbalism kit. That's one thing I always like pick up. I do have an herbalism kit, yes.
Okay, cool. So actually, yeah, if you want to, Shalla, if you want to take some time and break out the mortar and pestle and grind some of these up and get them over some water, you can absolutely, we can work on crafting some healing potions if you want.
Sure.
If we've got time to kill, right?
Yeah.
So let's do roll me a medicine check then. 2 medicine checks if we're making 2 potions.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
And a 12.
Dirty 20 and a 12. Okay, so I just want to make sure I got this right. You're going to be able to add a regular healing potion to your inventory, right? That's the white quality one, or the, common. And then
Got it.
whatever the green quality up from that is, one of those as well. And I'll say that, yeah, after you get that going, like you get the cork stoppered on the last one, Vargo and Scylla will make their way back to the hideout as well. I'm curious to know what Shalla's thinking about this group of people, though. Especially given that while the Moanwi way of life is kind of laissez-faire, get along, go along.
Yeah.
So the fact that this group exists in and of itself wouldn't really it'd kind of not be anything that anyone at all would be any plussed about. But you're kind of not just your average Moanwi. You're a Tomwatwi. You're not a political person, but given the activities of the last week or so, especially with all of these strange newcomers and interests finding your island out of all of the vast islands of the archipelago, they came here, and it kind of inadvertently threw you into a political position where these people are kind of they're your guests, right? They're you welcomed them. You didn't, Maya did, but they welcomed them to their shores, and suddenly a group of islanders is now acting hostilely towards these outsiders, and that just kind of interested where Shalla's headspace is at.
I guess it's to be expected that some of the islanders won't be fans of newcomers. They've more or less been isolated. Whether that's a good or a bad thing kind of depends. So she's kind of not surprised. She's just maybe kind of a little bit disappointed, like, why we gotta act like this?
Right.
Why can't you be more welcome? Like, they've been so far they've been friendly, so she's inclined to be friendly. So
Right.
I'd also like
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to point out that from what we've seen, these people were already doing this before the rest of us got to the island. Like, they didn't put up this fort in, 4 days.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
She's heard of people who kind of leave the society, I guess, for lack of a better term. Although she's not really encountered people, so this is kind of like a, what do they do whenever they leave.
Right.
It's not a very frequent occurrence. But
No,
it does
because
happen.
most people actually subscribe to the program of, if we just
Yeah.
do a little bit to help out and make sure everybody's okay, everything's okay. Um, it's kind of, it's like that weird culture shock. And then it's also the fact that Maya and the other Kawanai and everybody is so adamant that this isn't happening. And it's hard to tell if this is denial or what's going on there. Because
What isn't happening?
this fort, this doesn't exist.
Oh,
Got it. These people
well, I
that
think it's kind of up in the mountain, like for all a lot of other people know, it doesn't exist.
right.
I mean, each island is like its own island, so the only people who probably even are familiar with it are any that live on that island, and more likely than not, only ones that live near that fort, because this is a decent-sized island.
Yeah, it's quite large, and
Yeah, I think this is the largest in the archipelago.
I think it's actually. I don't ask me why I did math. Fifth largest.
Oh shit, really? Okay.
But it's they're all relatively close. This is up there. But yeah, it like what you said, each island is an island. Each settlement is kind of an island.
It kind of is, yeah.
It's there is definitely some cooperation between the settlements, especially the people further inland. They don't have access to the fresh fish.
Well, and especially the people on the much smaller islands. Like, you're more likely to know more of the people on the entire island on the small ones, whereas Miyamoto is much bigger, so you have more space, and maybe you haven't met everyone on the island or been to all the settlements.
Right. So yeah, it's a lot to process. So instead of processing it, she processes herbs.
Yep. This
but-
is how druids cope.
There you go.
I'm gonna wander into a cave and eat mushrooms.
I mean,
We already have that druid.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Hey,
Boyle.
if she finds mushrooms in here, she's not against giving them a taste and seeing what happens.
Well, at this point, Bright Lily kind of just grows her own off her body. You
Which-
just takes them out of her armpits.
Oh, nice.
That's less appealing all of a sudden.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Hey, more mushrooms for you.
Oh, well, before we continue, I want to give a quick break to announce we officially hit 50 subscribers.
Holy cow!
Yep.
That is dope. That is dope.
My
You guys,
wife's in the tub in the bathroom a few rooms away, and she heard her yell woo.
you guys are awesome. Every one of you guys watching, you guys warms my heart.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, everybody.
So Shalla, you're putting the finishing touches on your potions, and Vargo and Scylla make it back to the hideout. So the idea is to wait for the storm to approach and use that as cover. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we're just going for the sneak up the walls and fight in the storm.
Okay. Well, you shoot if you guys want to. Take a few minutes, talk it out. Do you guys have rope, all the equipment you guys need? Anything you need to like craft or like help you guys out along the way?
I have rope and I have pitons, however we decided they're pronounced.
I think it's Pythons. Yeah, and I'm gonna don my armor again. Alrighty.
Kitties of D&D.
That actually is, if anybody watching at home, this is an interesting Easter egg. That's how this entire world came to be. This world and our tabletop game Worlds with Friends was all created because we had this idea at one point that we should make a world and have our cats be the gods. And, well, we've kind of went off track from that substantially in every single way, but here we are.
The cats are always secretly in the background plotting.
See, I think I asked about the gods before. I might try to get Shalla to tell me about any sort of like relics or temples, like special places on the island kind of in general?
That's a great question.
I love those questions.
Which, if you want to figure it out
You're
after the
making
game,
me
that's fine.
think of things.
Hey, that's the real
I
reason
haven't
why.
actually given the whole religious thing a thought. Like,
There'll definitely
yeah,
be
it's-
some culture shock a little bit,
yeah,
because they really don't have much going on in the way of like open worship in the islands. That's
yeah. It's more just like,
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I guess, and yeah, they kind of, they don't really, yeah, like worship isn't really a thing. I guess they kind of have like ancestor reverence to an extent, like they know where they came from, and they kind of like, if you pass, you're like, it's probably gonna be more focused on that sort of thing.
Oh, really? Shalla, what's your parents' names?
Shut up.
Sorry.
Shalla just sprang forth out of the foam of the ocean. She doesn't have parents.
Hey, that's a cool story, though.
Her parents are still alive. She doesn't, yeah.
You
Her
think they
parents are
are?
still alive. They better be.
Well, do the Moana people do like the nuclear family, or is it more of a takes a village to raise a child kind of situation?
It's definitely more of, well, it's kind of a mixture. Like, sometimes you may have multiple generations in one house. Sometimes families have their own homes. Definitely, like, and especially in the smaller villages, it's a lot like what you think of, oh, back in whenever, you could go wander around to whoever's house and you just kind of got taken care of. Whereas in the bigger villages, you would see it more like in your kind of area, like everyone knows everyone sort of thing, everyone watches. But like, yeah,
Gotcha.
you're gonna go home at the end of the day to your own home, but definitely people kind of hang out together during the day and everyone kind of watches, especially if like one of the parents is more of a going out and fishing than like some of the other people who maybe stay back and don't do that would definitely watch their kids for them.
And like, it wasn't too awful long ago you guys were in Nicaranu, and that was essentially one giant extended family occupying,
Nicaranu is,
that's
like they had their own homes, but they definitely would, you could just walk into someone else's house if you knew them, and they'd be like, oh, hello.
Yeah, because the chances are that they're probably related, or at least, when you don't have to live anywhere specifically, you generally tend to not live next to jackasses, so it kind of,
Yeah. They kind of get pushed to the outsides and then wander away.
Who we're about to fight.
Yeah. But,
What? What happened?
You said that's who we're about to fight.
Oh, that's who we're about to fight. I thought you just said we're about to fight. Like, we are? No. I mean, these people are kind of, I don't know who these are yet.
But Vargo, you got a pretty good idea too, that hearing her talk about the moon and its relationship with the tides and whatnot, they're gonna have an interesting time when the Austrian missionaries kind of find out about this place, because you're familiar with the Austria worships pretty much the whole pantheon, but Corellia is their main patron of focus, who represents the blue moon.
Yeah, I was wondering if I should bring up that the city I grew up in has a giant relic from the moon goddess in the harbor.
I find that interesting. Be like, oh, the moon. We love the moon.
Yeah, they're real. I have proof.
Do what?
I said, yeah, they're real. I have proof.
Actually, if you need proof, Aru is probably floating by right now, actually, just barely visible through the clouds.
Nice.
But that's
the random moon.
Yeah, the random moon that does whatever it wants to. It'll be an interesting time with the Austrians as they begin to migrate their way this way with the opening of Takor Harbor back on the beach. Which we keep talking about. We keep talking about that, but yeah, it's essentially it's the first multinational city with interest from Borealia and Austria and Moanwi coming together, kind of making a what Tortuga probably started as type of thing. You know,
I got overrun with pirates.
Yeah, exactly. Not saying that's going to happen here, but you know.
No, totally not.
You never know.
Exactly.
Oh, I got a feeling.
Well, we'll see. We got dice to help us with that.
Yep. That's why I would say you never know.
Exactly.
The dice decide.
I keep wanting to find cultists.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, though, that reminds me of something I got a note down. But anyways, so yeah,
I
you guys...
found cultists.
What's that?
I said I found cultists through the desert.
Yeah.
So not where we are.
I don't know. I think you're all cultists.
Probably.
The Moan, we are just one giant big cult. It's called communism.
This time it works.
Question mark?
Just weren't doing it right.
But yeah, you guys chill out for the first half of the afternoon, just kind of playing it safe. About midway through the afternoon, it gets to its darkest point in the daytime, as the cloud cover fully embraces the sky, and not long later you hear the first distant claps of thunder roil over the island, indicating that Shalla, the storm you'd predicted, is indeed nearing arrival late in the afternoon.
Wonderful.
So are we going to go, is the idea to go over the bridge, or how are we going to try and do a flank on one of the sides?
Well, probably go, because you said the ones up front, they kind of don't really move around much, and others don't go in there too often. Yeah?
Correct, yeah.
I guess front's probably the way to go. Kind of scale up, not use the bridge going across, but scale this wall right here, and as soon as we get up, blitz in, or at least hit somebody here on the, not blitz in, but we'll take this guy out here on the closest side right here.
I gotcha.
That sound good, guys?
Shalla's gonna kind of trust you too, since you did the main scouting.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what's going on.
Right. Alright, that sound like a plan, Vargo?
Maybe.
Oh, could you? I said yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
sorry.
know if I picked up.
Yeah, sorry. Alright, and so what's our plan after we take him out? When we get up there?
So, I don't really know if there'd be any benefit to me trying to impersonate him. I would say probably just try to work our way around the walls. We should scry on Corvin before we finalize our plan, so we know where we're going for him. Because I feel like freeing him we'd probably want to free him first, so he can help us fight.
Yeah, and we definitely want to keep an eye out for his gear too, because you said the one guy was wearing his armor.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, don't kick anyone off the cliff until you've seen what they're wearing.
Right.
Or deal with that repercussion. I don't know what to tell you. There ain't another one on the entire island, bro. Perfect. So yeah, if you want to, Shalla, we can get looking.
Sure.
Cool. Guys, as you've seen her do before, she gets a little area kind of little personal space bubble going on, crisscross applesauce, and sets the veil down in her lap. As her eyes go stormy once more, the air in the cave kind of like electrifies just a tiny little bit as like there's like positive ionization in the air as the magics begin to weave within the orb itself. And you're suddenly, Shalla, in another place. You're scrying on Corvin specifically.
Yeah, trying to get an idea of where in this fortification he may be.
Okay.
So we can try to get to him.
Gotcha. Well, last time you did this, he wanted to resist a little bit, but he's kind of getting familiar with the sensation on his mind. So he'll go ahead and allow it, and your vision snaps in as the orb creates its simulacra invisible in the air. And you are inside of a tent. You are probably 10 foot long, maybe 15 foot across from one side to the other. You can see a flap heading in from the outside, and you can see it blowing a little bit. It's not secured. It's a tent. And you can see the... you can actually see the first clap of lightning, and it's kind of an odd sensory experience because you see it, and then you hear the thunder in your body, and it just feels like they're miles apart, but they're it's just enough of a delay to make it seem weird. But you see Corvin, and Corvin has his arms bound behind him. Appears to be affixed to a one of the tent poles supporting the device, if you want to call a tent a device, I don't know. And Corvin's also not alone in that tent. Would you make me a perception check, Shalla? Somehow still good.
I know, right? That plus 10 is just amazing.
A natural 2 for a 12. I love it. The other individual is a Moanwi Islander that you do recognize as a traveling trader that mostly operates along the coast, going from Tekor up the coast towards the more center part of the island, following the coast. They bring fish, and they are similarly tied to the opposite tent pole. They're kind of facing each other, and Corvin appears to be sleeping or unconscious, not injured, but not conscious. The other individual, who has kind of long, like shoulder length brown hair, a little bit pudgy in the midriff. He looks a little rough for wear. He's got a scrape on his cheek, on his left cheek, that's a little bloody, but looks like it might be a few days old. And you can see that he has a piece of cloth around his neck, like it was possibly used as a gag at some point. And he is frantically looking around, and like you can tell that he's like pulling at the ropes that are binding him. He is definitely not having a great day. There is a lot of panic in his disco.
That's a good one.
But with a 12, there is nobody else in the tent. There are also no weapons in the tent. It's very Spartan. There's some linens that are like spread out, like just to kind of act as a rudimentary floor or carpet, like a pad. And you can see in the corner between the two gentlemen is a bucket. Not sure if it's a pee bucket or a water bucket, but it's a bucket.
Yeah. So through this glowing tent flap, can I tell that they are inside of that fortress? I know we're pretty sure he's there, but we have not laid eyes on him.
Make me an, what do I want to make this? What is your spellcasting modifier on Shalla?
+4.
+4. Roll me a d20 and throw +4 on it.
15.
Cool. We're right on the cusp of this DC that I'm inventing for myself, but so you're basically as if your face was this orb at the top of this tent, right? Along the center line of it. And you're kind of stuck with, it's the downside of scrying on an individual is that it is a very tight-in shot on the individual. Whereas you can scry on a location and it kind of is up to the will of the caster and what their intent is. What you're trying to do is you're trying to alter your intent. You're not sure if it's even possible, but you've not been traditionally trained in any of this, so you haven't had anybody tell you that it can't be done. So you're inside your own head looking down. You can feel your hands clench in front of you. You can feel the weight of the veil resting in your lap, and you don't really know what you do, but you do this shoulder jerk upward motion and the orb pops up through the tent, passes right through it, and it's not much further up. You're operating outside of the realm of the instructions for the spell, but it is enough that you can see directly beside the tent, outside the flap, are, from this vantage point, 2 people that you can see sitting around a campfire in the shadow of a wooden wall. And with that jerk upward and that quick look, your scrying spell will dissipate and unravel and end.
Alright.
So probably
I
still
will-
inside.
Yeah. I'll share with him that it seems like he's in a tent near a wall. Unfortunately, I'm not sure which wall.
I will say, do you want to roll me a nature check real quick, Shalla?
Sure.
See if we can give you all the chances we can give.
I feel like once we get up on the wall, we'll be able to spot that too,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, it's one of the tents inside there, probably. You're having a little bit of a hard time. You're thinking back, Shalla. You're trying to determine which way the wind was blowing that flap, but because you're facing, presumably south or southeast, sitting in this little alcove, and the camp is situated northward. It's just a weird juxtaposition that makes it hard to get a beat on it for sure. You're not sure. You did notice that there was at least some form of presence outside the tent for guard, so maybe that'll be something that you can look for.
Got it.
Or we could just burn it all, I don't know.
Set it on fire. I'm pretty sure I can do that.
Alright, so let's ask the million-dollar question. Let me zoom this out just a little bit for the folks at home so we can continue our plan here. So are you going to go, are we planning on going most of the way around towards the front, sneaking above ground, or are you guys wanting to sneak through the moat itself, or are you going to...
Is the moat, lit at all? Or is it fairly dark?
It is not lit, and from when you were scouting the front, Vargo especially, you haven't been able to get a good look down in it, but it's probably 15 to 20 foot down. Your best guess, 15 to 20 foot down. But it's not any more lit than the walls are, which aren't actually. They don't have torches up on the walls. Because what good would that do, actually? We just kill their night vision. That's another thing that we can add into the things we know pile. We are famously, historically human. So use that information how you like.
Yeah, so I feel like we could probably make it through the moat if it's dark, as long as we aren't being super loud. I don't really, other than like having Scylla carry over a tree trunk for us to walk across or something.
Ooh, we could try to fashion some kind of ladder, though.
Yeah.
Lay it across.
You think they wouldn't notice it?
I mean, if we're quick enough in a rotation of the guard and we do it in the right spot, we can be quick.
Oh, so
Lay the
you like
ladder across.
symbol it
Yeah, lay the
away and then...
Yeah, lay the ladder across the moat, we scurry across, pull the ladder back, and then that can even help us scale the wall if we need it.
Yeah.
That's a fun idea. Or just hear me out, guys. A big wooden horse.
You know, the last one's to
Yeah,
try
well,
that. I'm not
gotcha.
sure. How about-
You fell for the old Trojan boar. So ladder. So are we thinking? Are we thinking single pole ladder or like a double pole ladder, like your traditional?
Yeah, I guess single would be easier to make, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know if
we're not really on crunch time, but we're getting to where we probably shouldn't spend several hours making something.
Well, are any of us very
Yeah.
skilled at crafting? Too?
I mean, that ought to be. I mean, a simple ladder ought to be within any of our wheelhouses. Shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say if anybody wants to, you're more than welcome to make me a nature check to see if we can find a suitable donor to work off of.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and spam guidance on this.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't stack guidance. That'd be nice.
Wouldn't it?
Guide yourself and I guide you.
You got something that you can use. I mean, it takes a second level spell slot, Shalla, but
Right.
I've guided.
you have Fortune's paper.
Enhance ability.
That's true, I do. Let's see. Stop it, Zoe. She's trying to attack poor little Winchester. Get down.
Scylla with a 13, though. Vargo, do you want to make a look as well?
Sure. Not the greatest in nature, but
Yeah, you know,
we'll see.
a little bit better. And Shalla, do you want to get in on this? You were pretty good at finding the plants.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Sorry, cats are fighting. Go on. Stop bothering him. He's been picking on poor little Winchester.
Well, that's not very
He's just my
nice.
sweet little boy. Yeah. Nature.
I was trying to see if Druidcraft would do that, but it won't really. 19?
So,
Oh, yeah. That's super good. So yeah, you are quickly able to find a good, long, sturdy palm that's kind of died a little bit, or is on its way out, so that it's kind of dry and it's lost a little bit of its suppleness. At first guess, it looks like that it probably do a decent job of supporting your collective weights on it. It doesn't have any type of handhold branches, but it's the type of thing that we could fashion on if you were wanting to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah, can we just like hammer the pitons in there?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really awesome use for those. How many do you have? 10, 20?
And
10? Yeah, 10. Let me just see what the span here is on this.
Oh, whoops. I was muted. I was going to say, I've got some rope, too, if we needed to, like, string rope between them to...
I will say that, so this is about a 25-foot long tree, right? From root to tip. Looking at it, more than welcome to continue. It's definitely tall enough to get over the wall. It probably isn't long enough to cross the moat at its narrowest.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's about, I just measured it. It's about 50 foot from bank to bank on that. So that would be a pretty significant tree that you guys would have to find.
Yeah, we might
Too
just have
bad.
to climb up and down.
Because at that point, you're kind of lugging a tree around. But it's absolutely up to you guys.
Well, I'm not the one who would be carrying it, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple ladder ought to be better. So I'm trying to...
Oh, you're good. Take your time, man.
Yeah, I didn't play with my spells after the long rest, so I'm taking a moment.
Oh, you're good. Take your time.
And there we go. Okay. Alright, so... Okay, so we're fashioning a... Sorry, I kind of spaced out there for a minute, too.
Oh, you're good, dude. A simple ladder, I think. Or we're deciding if it's worth going forward with it.
Gotcha.
Because of the span of the moat is greater than the ladder would be, but it would still be useful in getting up the wall.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
pros and cons of Scylla.
Well, no, we'd have to get it across the moat when it was primarily to get us across the moat. Getting up the wall was the benefit, so
I gotcha.
it was just an added bonus.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's not going to get us across, I say we just find our way across.
Okay. Well, then, as we will go ahead and just massage the timeline just a skosh to the point where the sun is behind the clouds, yet finding its way to the horizon to the point where the darkness is encroaching at a decent rate, apart from the flashes of lightning that are starting to happen with a little bit more frequency. Mostly cloud to cloud, though they're still fairly distant. And seeing as the moment has arrived, you all slink out into the darkness. Do you want to make me a stealth check for the first little stage of this as we approach the moat? We're going to do group stealth, so we're going to average. So
That's not good.
Alright, I'm going to cast guidance, and I'm going to cast... maybe not bless just yet. So that's going to have a limited time on it. No!
Oh, no.
Shalla, it's all on you.
What?
Stealth check.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we
get
have
a 20
guidance
so we
on
can
what is
average like 10.
now.
Or get a natural one, so this is fantastic.
Right.
And a 4d4?
No, I did not cast bless.
Yeah, so it's just,
Oh,
it's all good though. 15 isn't terrible. And you guys are on the furthest leg of this journey so far, so, that was almost
Does-
something. you guys are good for right now. To your the best of your all's ability to read the situation. It was a little bit rough.
Could we say I guidance to myself since that's a D4?
Do you have guidance?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, no problem at all. So that puts us in a good spot. And you guys, you made a little bit of noise getting kind of the thrill of the what's to come. Kind of made everybody a little bit clumsy, but the thunder and the sound of the wind and the rain did a good job of masking that, and it's probably going to continue to play in your all's favor, even as the little droplets of rain are like pink, 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 dinging off of your armor, so that we get a little further along towards the edge of the moat, kind of on the front side of things, like around in this area-ish. Can we get another round of group stealth checks, and then these will be individual rolls, but then can we get athletics or acrobatics to begin to descend into the moat?
Got it.
Well, I did have a nat 20, but disadvantage, so 12.
Oh no, I'm gonna guidance myself again because.
Okay.
Yeah. And then athletics.
Okay. So, let's see here.
I just long jump the fucking moat.
Yep. You guys have no problem whatsoever getting down there to the bottom of the moat. Still thinking you're probably doing pretty good about being undetected. And you've got a significant advantage now, as you guys are kind of below the wall on the front part. Can we get one more group stealth check as we make it through the moat?
Alright, at this point I am going to cast Bless on all three of us.
Okay.
So that stacks with guidance?
Bless does, yes.
Yes, those are two different things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what does Bless do?
It adds a d4.
Yeah,
Okay,
kind
so
of the same thing.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, so with guidance you'll have 2d4.
But you know, it's something.
It counts.
It does count.
It counted.
that's 25.
That's a 25. And,
I'm not gonna complain about that.
Not at all, not at all. So you guys make your way to the point where you're kind of in the imaginary shadow of the bridge overhead. You can hear the activity in the camp. It's not as raucous as it was the night before. That might have a lot to do with the rain and the fact that they can't be, socially gathering out and about in the common spaces of the fort. But we've made it to the foot of it relatively fine. We're a little bit wet. We're a little bit uncomfortable. We're a little anxious, but we're here. And I think we'll pick up right there next time as the storm has arrived.